Okay, are you ready for video number 3? Here we are. Last video we talked about the importance of having a good team. So how are you holding up so far? And we have just begun. All right, finances. This one, boy, this is a tough one. How well do you know your finances? And this is a problem for a lot of people. Let me start off with this. I remember, and I may repeat this throughout the series of videos for you, my billionaire mentor. I have a program. If you haven't gotten this program, the program is Secrets that My Millionaire Mentors Taught Me About Business and Success. And in that interview, my billionaire mentor said, if at the end of the day you don't have a profitable business, you don't have a business. And ultimately he says, if you're not profiting at the end of the day, you are a nothing business. Now, depending where you are, if you just got started in your business, you're probably not going to profit. I mean, I think Amazon was years before they profited, but as long as you know you're on the course to getting more success, having more success, it's not just the pie in the sky stuff. But anyway, okay, so that's that. All right, the next thing is, and we're going to go through a number of them. One initial thing that's very important is, do you look at your numbers daily? See, a lot of people are afraid to look at their numbers. If the numbers aren't good, you get a little bit afraid. It scares you. But look, if it scares you, maybe that's a good thing. That's why you should look at it. It might put you into gear. But hey, look, if you don't look at the numbers, you're going to be in trouble. So it's not a smart thing to ignore your numbers. Look at your numbers. So check your finances on a regular basis and toughen up. Look, if your numbers aren't the way you like them, I mean, who wouldn't have the desire to have more success financially, right? But if your numbers aren't right and it's hurting you and it depresses you or discourages you, look, you are an entrepreneur. Toughen up. Seriously, you have to toughen up. All right, another couple things I want to think about. You want to make sure, and I see large companies even doing this, you want to make sure you separate. Make sure you separate your business from your finances. Your business from your personal finances, I should say. So here's what I mean by that. You should have a business account, and then that business account should pay you on a different basis. So with that being said, even if you're giving yourself $50 a week, pay yourself out of that account. Totally 100% separated. And a lot of people don't separate it. And it's very, very important that you do that. And if you don't do that, it just mixes things up. It makes it hard for an accountant and so on. Talking about accountants, who is doing your books? I'm going to guess that 90% of entrepreneurs do their books themselves or have their spouse or a family member do it for them. I'm not saying that's a bad thing. But the problem with family members, like we talked about, in video 2, the problem with having family members work for you. Look, I doubt seriously that Bill Gates, Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk, I doubt seriously if they have their girlfriends or their spouses or their other girlfriends, you know what I mean, doing their books. They're not. So I want you to get to the point where you consider having somebody else do your books. And I'll tell you why. A couple reasons. Number one, the real reason you probably don't have other people other than somebody you know really well, friend, family member, is the trust factor, right? Well, as you get bigger, you're going to have to let that go if that's your goal to get bigger. I mean, all the billionaires, they let go. They don't do their books. There's an exception to that. Oprah Winfrey, I heard she signs every check. I think that's crazy. I just think that's totally crazy. That's because of some issues in the past, and if that works for her, great, it works for her. But you want to let go. And I think having somebody else do your books for you is one of the greatest ways for you to let go. So think about that. And as you're working and growing your business, start thinking about who can you get somebody, who's that person that you can use to let go. Another thing that you want to be thinking about with regards to your books is make sure that, as I said earlier, that you look at your books on a daily basis and then have a regular meeting with your accountant or bookkeeper. Now, remember, when you're using family members, this is the other problem. When you're using family members, it's hard sometimes, without coming across like a jerk or insensitive, to be tough on a family member when you know you need these numbers at a specific time. And then you know that if you are really hard on your husband who's doing the books or your spouse who's doing the books, your wife or whatever, then that problem's going to carry over when you get home. It just gets ugly. It really does. And if you understand this, then you need to change something about it. I mean, you may not be able to do it right away. You may need to just sit down and have a conversation and say, look, this is something that we need to talk about. This hurts our relationship. What do you think about letting go? It might be a month from now, 6 months from now, a year from now. But these are the things that you need to be really aware of. Also, be very concerned about having a goal, and it's something that I've had to make a shift in, where you're constantly not wanting to pay taxes because you're going to write everything off. And that's great. You can write everything off to your zero. But if you're not careful, you can write everything off to your zero and have no income. You have no profits left. So what you can do is take your profits and invest in those profits, where those profits through some type of annuity or a 401k, not that I'm encouraging a lot of that, but sometimes it's useful. You could do a spec. There's so many different things that you can do where you can take your profits, and then those profits on top of that, what you can do is use those profits to generate tax-free income or taxable income, depending on how you organize it. That's an accountant matter. Anyway, hopefully this has given you a lot to think about, because it is something that it is the lifeline of your business. And if you are not focusing and managing on it because it's too painful, you've got to toughen up and get in there. All right. One other final thing. Famous Amos, maybe you haven't heard of him. He unfortunately died not too long ago. He was the founder of Famous Amos Cookies. Famous Amos Cookies. And what he did, he got to a level of success. He started letting go. He started taking his thumb off the pulse. So much so that the people he put in charge, because he didn't keep his thumb on the pulse, they started destroying the business, to the point that he had to sell his business, pennies on the dollar, and got to the point he legally could not even use the name Famous Amos. He had to sell it. All right. So keep your thumb on the pulse. This is what serious entrepreneurs do. All right. I'm out of here. Between now and the next time we get to chat, you know what to do. And if you don't, you do now. Title of one of my books: Don't Let Others Rent Space in Your Head. And I look forward to seeing you on video number 4 on 17 reasons why entrepreneurs fail in business. See you soon.